Okay, welcome back, students. Let's start a new topic today, that is force and laws of motion. So, what exactly a force is? So, before we actually, dig deeper into balanced and unbalanced forces, first we need to know what exactly a force is. So, force is, for example, you might have encountered or you might have gone to places or malls, and it's written there push on doors, right? And you end up pulling those doors, or sometimes it's written pull and you end up pushing that door, right? So sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't, and you have to then follow whatever is written there, right? So what exactly that push or pull is, it's nothing but a force. You are applying a force. Okay, and force is a kind of, you can say, movement only. So movement plus okay, a little bit mass is there. You're using your mass and you're providing acceleration to something, and that's how you end up opening something or closing something. So basically force is nothing but, like, for example, I'm standing and somebody's standing behind me and they pushed me a little bit, so they have applied force on my body, and that's why I moved. Okay, if for example, this AC remote, okay, it's here, right? Now if I push it like this, okay, so it moved to a certain place. Like I pushed it like this. Okay, if you can see, like this. So this is also, I am applying force to something. Okay, so it's nothing. What exactly force is? Force is nothing but a push or a pull that changes or tends to change the state of motion of an object and also shape of an object. For example, clay. You are playing with some clay. Okay, now you are molding it and making, maybe some human dolls or something like that. Okay, so maybe something like this, right? So you are changing the shape of it by applying a certain amount of force. It doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be too less. Like, it was adequate amount of force which you have applied to change the shape of your clay, and you molded it into a doll maybe. Okay. Now, state of motion of an object. Now, what do we mean by state of motion? That an object can be, moving, or it can be at rest, right? Only two states of motion can be there mostly, right? So either something is, walking, somebody is moving, or they are just standing there like this, and then they are moving and then stable again. So these two are the states of motion. Now, if you provide a push, like suppose somebody is standing, and if you push them from behind, they'll start moving, right? And if somebody is moving and if you put a force to stop them, it'll, or the person will stop. Okay, so force always comes in pairs. For every action there is equal and opposite reaction. This we will talk about again in our next topic. So coming to forces, it can be balanced or unbalanced. What do we mean by balanced or unbalanced? Comes our specific topic now. So balanced force is something which, cancels out each other. Okay, how it does that? Let's see. Okay, yeah, it cancels out each other, and the net force would be 0. For example, let's say, for now we are not talking about units. I am using a force of 10, okay, let's say 10 Newton. Okay, and I'm pulling you towards me. Okay, I'm pulling you towards me like this. Okay, but you are also using 10, Newton force, and you are pulling me towards you. Okay, you're pulling me towards you, I'm pulling. Okay, let's imagine, the game of tug of war. So what they do is, they basically, people actually hold the string, or not string, you can say the rope, right? And what they do is, they will actually, one second. Yeah. And actually, they'll try to, pull it towards each other, from, like, towards themselves. Okay. And the one who is able to do it, they win. That's it, right? So if the force, both sides will be equal, like positive Newton and 10, let's say, okay, because it is in opposite direction, that's why we are using a negative sign here. Okay, it's not like the force is in negative. We are using negative sign because the direction is opposite. Okay, so now what happens? This cancel out each other. and then there will be no net force. That means the rope will not neither move this side nor that side because the force was balanced. Okay, it was equal both the sides. But for example, this team got one more member now, and she's or he is also pulling the rope towards them. Now they have extra power, extra strength, right? Extra mass. So they are using it to pull the rope towards themselves. Now what happens is, now there will be unbalanced force. For example, here let's say 10 Newton, and here let's say 15 Newton. Okay, so now this is unbalanced force, right? And this unbalanced force will cause the movement of the rope from this side to this side completely. Okay. Now, so effect, what is the effect of a balanced force? No change in the state of rest or motion, and no change in shape unless forces are applied differently. Okay, in a different way maybe. Example could be like, for example, a book is resting on the table. Okay, it's at rest. So what happens is like the weight is downwards. So this book, the weight is downwards. Okay, and the table's upward force is being applied opposite. So it's equal, and that's why there is no motion, no movement. That's why the book is not moving anywhere else. The table is not moving anywhere else. Everything is at rest. Okay. Now, the more, once the book is applied with enough force, it will start moving or it will move. Now, tug of war, I have explained you already, right? And what is important exactly in a tug of war game? It's the team spirit. Okay, it's you know, everybody working together to win that match. Okay, so that is something you should always keep in mind, whether you are in school or when you grow up and you just take up a job. So everybody should work in team towards a particular goal, and then only you will be able, because all the force will be combined together towards a goal, right? So you can use that there as well. Okay, now unbalanced force. So unbalanced force is when, like I have already explained this, when forces acting on the object do not cancel out each other. Okay, now when they do not cancel out each other, what happens? Net force become actually not zero. Okay, not equal to zero. It can be some particular number, right? So then it will be unbalanced, and like I told you that this will move towards wherever the mass or the acceleration is more. We'll see how. Okay, now it causes a change in motion and also may change the shape of an object, because you're applying the unbalanced force, right? You took the clay. If you're not providing enough force to it, it will not be molded. It won't change its shape. But once you will provide enough unbalanced force, that means whatever force the clay is applying on your hand, you're applying more force than that. Then what happens? It will change. Okay. So example would be pushing a stationary car maybe. Okay. So you are applying more force than whatever the force car was applying on you, because always forces are, opposite and equal. Okay. And when it is unequal, then there is a change in the state. Tug of war, I told you, when one team will pull harder, then it will obviously become unbalanced force, and that team will win. Okay. So now if we talk about the net force, the total force for unbalanced forces, it will be like I already discussed. It will be like this, and this will cancel out and it will become zero, right? Unbalanced force, whereas it won't be zero because there will be some amount of extra force being applied and it won't cancel out. Now, effect on motion. So no change in if the force is like I'm sitting here and somebody's putting balanced force on me, like they are pushing me but balanced amount, so I won't move. But the moment the force my body is putting towards that person became less than their force being applied on me, I will move. Okay, so that is unbalanced force, and it causes motion or change in motion. Now, example here, the book on the table, equal tug of war. Here, uneven tug of war, and also moving trolleys are there. Okay, so you know now that balanced forces are equal and opposing arrows like this. Okay, and their net force is nothing but zero. Okay, sorry. Right, and here unbalanced force have unequal arrows to it, and the net force is non-zero. Okay, for unbalanced forces. Okay, so where do we see balanced force? We see when we are sitting on a chair. So we are not moving at all, right? We are not in motion right now. So when I'm sitting on a chair here, maybe, or when you are sitting on a bed, your chair, right, or anywhere like on a floor or maybe desk of your school. So what happens? That is balanced force is there. Your body is applying some force to the table, and there's some, table is also applying some force to your body, and that is equal. That is balanced. Okay, floating boat in the still water. So in still water, if the water is not moving, okay, and if some boat is there, so again that boat is actually, has imbalance force. Basically these two are imbalanced. Okay, hanging picture frame on a wall. So if a frame is, has been stuck and your beautiful image is here, okay, so this is also in balanced, you can say force. Helicopter hovering in a place. So if helicopter is hovering in one particular, place, you can say like this night might not be my best drawing, but you can imagine. Okay, so hovering in one place means doing this. Okay, just standing, or this is moving. Okay, the wings are moving on me. So that again comes under balanced force. Now, unbalanced is a ball is there and you kicked it. So you provided it with extra force. That's why it started moving. Okay. A gust of wind pushing a stationary umbrella. So if umbrella is stationary like this, and the wind is basically moving it, right, towards something. Okay. So that is also unbalanced force. Rocket launching into space. Now you know that Earth is also pulling a rocket towards itself through gravitational force, right? So you have to overcome that gravitational force, then only the rocket will launch. So that is also where the unbalanced force comes into picture, and also opening a stuck jar lid. So if you won't provide enough force to it, it won't open. Okay. So these are daily life thing where you can notice signs, every day, day to day around you. So we talked about balanced forces, we talked about unbalanced forces, right? We saw how there is no change in a balanced force case, where if the forces are unbalanced, then there is a change in motion. Okay. And first law of Newton. Okay, this I haven't given you a good picture because I told you that we'll discuss this in our, another session. Okay. So I hope you understood this. Now try solving some questions. So which of these is an example of balanced force? Whether it is kicking a ball, book resting on a table, or pushing a door to open it. So now you can tell which one is the balanced, not unbalanced. Okay, do not get confused. Now the second question is that unbalanced forces cause no motion, change in motion, and decrease in mass. What exactly it is? And lastly, in tug of war, the rope stays still. Still means at one place. Okay. So when forces are unbalanced, forces are balanced, only one team pulls. Okay. So you can try these. Also, you can think of, 3 example around your classroom. Now, next time you are visiting your school or your classroom, you're sitting there, try thinking of 3 balanced forces which are present inside your classroom, and you can just comment down below. Okay. And also 3 unbalanced forces, right? Okay. So thank you so much for joining the session. I hope you learned something new today. Okay. And if you have any doubts, any queries, just feel free to reach out to me on my profile of Urban Pro. Okay. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye. Take care.